Yo, what's going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more Cinderella Phenomenon. Last time we left off, we continued our work as Emmeline's personal maid, and we just recently discovered that she might have had a bit of a present that she intended to give to us before we were cursed. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And just a reminder before we start, if you guys enjoyed this video or enjoy any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button so you'll be notified when a new one of those comes out. Well, let's jump right back on into it. Continue. Here we go, chapter 4. I begrudgingly follow Emmeline towards the entrance, and there I see the delivery carriage. A familiar person stands beside it. Viorica! Emmeline pulls Viorica into a tight hug. I turn my attention away to glare at the number of boxes at the back of the carriage. I will no doubt have to help them carry them inside. How are the preparations for the ball coming? Emmeline's smile seems forced at first, but then eases into something softer. It's going well, I suppose. How about the wedding? Desimond. I guess that's how you say that. Desimond and I have finalized the date. It will be 2 days after your ball. I can't wait to see you in your wedding dress. These two always talk so much when they get together. I ignore their chatter as I walk up to the carriage to observe the boxes piled inside. What is in the boxes? Oh! Viorica reaches out to grab one. She hands it to me. I'm helping with the ball decorations. I came by with part of the order today. Part of it? Careful, it's a bit heavy. I take the box from her hands and nearly stumble. This is heavy. Emmeline should have the male servants do this. Queen Ophelia placed quite a large order. I brought the more fragile decorations first. Oh, the glass baubles and vases. I guess it'd be vases, huh? I grit my teeth as I shift the box in my arms in an attempt to make it easier to hold. I thought you worked at a toy shop. Yes, but we also have aisles dedicated specifically to party decorations. What kind of toy shop is that? Yumeko, will you be alright? I feel annoyance simmer within me. I'm obviously not alright. Emmeline reaches out to help me with the box, but she's too late. I've only taken one step forward when the box slips and I stumble. I manage to cradle it in my arms, but its weight is too much for me. Before I hit the ground, I feel strong arms around my waist, pulling me back upright. The box is taken from me. Hey! My heart and mind are racing, and for a moment I cannot comprehend what has just happened. Are you alright? Rod? I glance to the side and am shocked to see Rod standing there. The expression on his face gives nothing away but with our close distance, and I can see some flicker of emotion in his bright eyes. Concern. Yumeko, I'm so sorry, are you okay? Rod pushes me and I stumble forward, almost tripping on the ground. He raises an eyebrow at me. Know your limits, Yumeko. I glare at him as anger begins to bubble up in my chest. Alright, well obviously we're gonna stay silent, right? Like we're trying to change ourselves here, so it's only natural. I clench my fists and take a deep breath to try and calm myself. I will not stoop to his level. He's the one being cruel here, not me. You shouldn't have stubbornly tried to carry something that was too heavy for you. I will not take responsibility if you get hurt. Rod, you shouldn't be angry with her for trying to help me. It was my fault for giving her something so heavy. Viorica, what are you doing here? Rod's voice is still cold. Viorica looks startled by his tone. I only came to deliver some of the decorations for the ball. And you thought Emmeline and her maid could carry these things on their own? Rod, this is not her fault. I'm the one who chose to bring Yumeko with me. I underestimated the size of the delivery. Viorica was just delivering the supplies. At least she admits her mistakes. I never thought Rod would be so stubborn. Emmeline's expression softens as she looks at her brother. She looks sad. Rod ignores her and picks up the boxes I had been carrying. He begins to walk away before he suddenly stops and glances back at me. Come on. Rod? We're going to call some servants to carry these boxes in. He turns around and begins to walk away. I am Emmeline's personal maid, not his. I glance at Emmeline, who nods her head. I really am so sorry. Thank you for helping my brother, Yumeko. I curtsy ever so slightly before running after Rod. Rod, wait! He picks up his pace as if trying to lose me. I turn the corner and barely stop myself before running right into Rod's back. What now? Why are you so angry at me today? I've barely even spoken to you. Your mere presence is enough to darken my mood. I glare at him and cross my arms. Funny. You call me cruel, but right now you're worse than I ever was. I don't need someone who hasn't even managed a single good deed to lecture me. I have to try very hard to resist the urge to slap him. You were supposed to help me get a good deed. As I said before, I never agreed to this. I still refuse to help you. Rod starts walking again, and I hurry after him. I cannot help but recall how cold he was with Viorica earlier. I thought they were friends, but he treated her like this at the toy shop too. Why were you so angry with Viorica earlier? No reason. I raise an eyebrow when Rod quickly answers the question. Then you were cold for no reason. You have such a princely disposition. Rod frowns, but has no rebuttal for my words. You must be generally cold and unfriendly. Excuse me? That would explain why you treated Viorica as you did. I thought that you two were childhood friends. Viorica was always closer with Emmeline than with me. We may have been friendly once, but we've since become distant. Distant? It is none of your business. I pause as we pass by my door, remembering that I left both the fabrics and Delora inside. I make my way toward the door and open it. What are you doing? None of your business. Hey. Enjoyed your little field trip. I frown when I see her sitting on my bed in human form. What would you have done if it wasn't me? Us witches have a sense for these things. Delora. Rod slowly enters the room. Sebi? Oh, is that his little thing? It's nice to see you here today, Delora. I have no idea. I guess it is. Nice to see you too, little Sebi. Why are you here? Delora shrugs as she inspects her nails. I thought I would help the princess here with... My bad. I thought I would help the princess here since someone doesn't seem very willing. Rod furrows his eyebrows at her. I didn't... Yes, I know, you didn't sign up for this. But do you really think you have a choice, Rod? Delora looks at Rod pointedly. You know the consequences if this fails. Rod looks away, expression conflicted. Consequences? What are you talking about? Consequences for not helping me with my curse? Rod sighs heavily before turning back to Delora. He does not pay attention to me. I'm not the right person for this. It doesn't matter what you think. The princess thought you were. So suck it up and do your job. Rod is silent for a few moments before he finally faces me, looking resigned. I will help you then, but don't expect me to change my opinions of you. I shrug at him. It's not like I was expecting you to in the first place. Delora grins with clear triumph. Good talk. Rod sighs. In order to achieve your good deeds, you're going to need to mend what you broke before. I feel I already know what he's going to say. My sister has always wanted to be your friend, so you must do just that. Show her kindness and you may be able to get your first good deed through her. Show her kindness, huh? Delora decides to stay in my room for the time being, saying that she believes Rod will be able to help me from now. Later, I make my way to the dining room with the fabrics and see Emmeline and Ophelia inside. Yumeko! Ah, I see you have the fabric. Thank you. Ophelia takes a topmost sample of fabric and begins to inspect it as Emmeline walks up to me. Where's Rod? He returns to his studies. Oh, right. He has history lessons today, and I am yet to finish my history homework, which is due tomorrow. As Emmeline muses aloud, I ponder what Rod told me earlier. I must become Emmeline's friend, but is that really a good deed? I hope Rod didn't send the servant out before he went back to his room. I wanted to tell him that Viorica and I had already called on guards to bring the boxes inside. Maybe he just wanted to start his lessons early so that he could make your dance lesson this evening. Dance lesson? Father wanted to hire the best dance instructor in Anthill, but I honestly feel more comfortable with Rod teaching me. He's a good dancer, so Father has allowed it. That is a surprise. I did not know Rod could dance. He used to prefer singing, but then... Ophelia trails off. I know that she's thinking about the fairy tale curse, but I do not expect her to divulge such information to a maid like myself. He's decided to focus on his dancing for the past few months. Ophelia glances down at the fabrics, then looks up and smiles at me. Yumeko, would you mind helping me with this? I obediently walk over to the fabrics Ophelia wants me to look through. They are apparently samples for the tablecloth that would be used during the ball. This is going to be a long day. Rod comes immediately to the throne room after his history lesson to start on his dance lessons with Emmeline. I'm only standing here because it's my responsibility as her personal maid, not to watch over as she practices. I watch as she steps out of rhythm and Rod sighs at her. You're doing it wrong. That's the 10th time. Sorry. Again. They start from the beginning, and I am unable to stifle my own sigh when Emmeline messes up the same step again. This would make the 11th time. I really am terrible at this. Would you rather have the royal dance instructor teach you? He has more experience teaching than I do. Oh no, I really want you to teach me, Rod. I'm sorry that I'm such a slow learner. You were always good at everything. Singing, dancing, cooking. Prince Rod cooks? Wait, was that her? Oh, that was her. You were always so good at everything. Singing, dancing, cooking. Prince Rod cooks? Yes, Rod does cook. He's very good at it. You didn't have to tell her that, Em. Oh, that's a nickname for her. I thought he was just like being like like I didn't know he was calling her M. Okay. Well, that was thrown out of the blue. Does it really matter? I love bragging about how talented my little brother is. I see a tinge of pink in Rod's cheeks as he turns away. Is he embarrassed? Emmeline looks down at the floor, her smile smaller. I wish I was as talented as you, Rod. I had always thought that Emmeline was overly optimistic, since she always seems to bounce back with a smile, no matter how many times I pushed her away. Now I cannot help but reconsider that thought. Still, seeing her like this only irritates me. Pitying yourself would get you nowhere. Not everyone can be perfect at everything when they first start out. I remember when Mother gave me similar lessons. She was always such a harsh teacher, and she hated it when I showed weakness in front of her. She made me keep practicing until I had perfected whatever it was that she wanted me to do. Failure was never an option. I never had time for self-pity. Instead of feeling sorry for yourself, just try harder. Let failure inspire you to do better. Yumeko, that was... She's right, Rod. Instead of complaining, I should be working harder. I let out an exasperated sigh and crossed my arms. You always look at your feet whenever you reach the underarm turn. Instead, focus on counting your steps and let Prince Rod lead you. Running too much on your next step is what puts you off rhythm. Emmeline stares at me. Can you dance, Yumeko? I can't. Why? Wow, that's amazing! There's nothing amazing about my being able to dance. Her praise makes me embarrassed regardless. Maybe I could learn fast after seeing someone do the dance first. What are you talking about? It might be easier to copy the steps if I can have someone perform them first. She turns to me suddenly, eyes bright. Would you help me? I meant to assist Elaine in any way that I can, but dancing with her brother. Surely a lowly maid like me should not be doing this. Ooh. Well, I mean, again, I feel like it's pretty, like, it's a pretty closed case what we're going to choose here. We're obviously going to accept, right? We have a goal that we're trying to get to, and we're goddamn going to get to it. Well, if I do accept, at least I can prove that I'm a better dancer than Rod. Excuse me. Besides, I'm supposed to be listening to Elaine, no matter how absurd her requests are. If that is what you want. Really? Elaine rushes up to me and takes my hand in hers. Thank you, Yumeko. I thought it might be an awkward request, but I'm so happy you've agreed to this. I turn to look at Rod, who's glowering at me. I'm not dancing with her. She might step on my feet. Elaine gives him a disapproving look. Rod, please. Rod eyes me warily. I step toward him and offer my hand. Shall we? Rod scowls at me for a moment before finally taking my hand. Hey, let's go! Hey, hey, hey! I put my hand on his shoulder and he places his hand on the small of my back. Rod looks at me but quickly averts his gaze. Is something wrong? I didn't think I would ever have to dance with you is all. Neither did I. Rod looks at me again. This time he has an uncomfortable scowl on his face. He's not the only one uncomfortable here. We both start dancing and I mentally start counting the steps. It has been a long time since I last danced with anyone, but the steps come to me naturally. The dance is rather simple. While Rod and I move stiffly, I cannot help but notice his careful footwork. I realize that Rod really is a pretty decent dancer. Of course, I would never openly admit that. When we stop, I hear Elaine clapping her hands as she looks at awe in both. As she looks at both of us in awe. You really are a good dancer. Thank you so much for showing me the steps. Now I know for sure what to do in that part. I just shrug at her before stepping back into the corner. Elaine takes a position in front of Rod once more. This time she has a bright smile on her face. I cannot believe something as simple as that has made her so happy. At the end of the day, Elaine has managed to do the steps correctly. She tells me many times how grateful she is for the help. After practice, I return to my room and retire to bed. I think about how happy Elaine was. How can such small things make a person so happy? You stepped out of rhythm again, Yumeko. But Mother, this is really hard. A princess never complains. You must perfect this waltz by tomorrow, otherwise I will not allow you to play with your dolls for the day. But if you have time for objections, you have time to push yourself harder. Now, once again from the top. Alright. So it looks like we are 100,000% on the raw route here. We're gonna end it off right there. So we're gonna go ahead and save. And we're gonna go to the main menu. Alright, so some interesting things happen this episode, as they always happen in every episode. So, looks like, obviously we got some little moments with Rod here. Looks like there is some genuine concern for us, so he clearly has some degree of, feelings for us. Although it is a bit awkward considering he's our stepbrother, but we're going to set that aside for now. I think that we are definitely slowly making our way towards a first good deed with Elaine, or at the very least, becoming friends with her. Even if it is kind of not the goal that we're going for, we do seem to be making her happy. But yeah, the little ending bit there, we got a little bit more sneak peek at her mother. So her mother obviously, for some reason, seemed to have sheltered her, told her that, hey, everybody on the outside world is, dangerous and all you need to do is stay inside, you never need to go out, blah blah blah. And for some reason she did something or the other that made the townspeople hate us. So that is still yet to be discovered as to what exactly she did and why exactly that is the case, whether she was just in general mean so people saw us as that or what. But yeah, anyways, that's going to be it for this time. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the video and let me know in the comment section below what you would like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any other videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on the post notifications so you'll be notified when a new one of those videos comes out. Anyway, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.